Hey everyone and welcome. I hope everyone's alright and welcome back to the channel. And this story I think you might be interested in. Now, as you probably know, Elon Musk and a lot of social media are backing these scumbags we've got in our kakistocracy in Parliament into a corner, and they're squirming like rats to try and get away from it.
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Well, some of them have been speaking out about this for a long time. Now, this is Lord Pearson of Rannoch. If you don't know who Lord Pearson is, he used to be the leader for UKIP. So he's a bit of a hero, even though Brexit was never completed. And here he is, in response to the King's speech and his opinion on Islam. This was on the 25th of July, 2024. So they knew...
Oh, it's a bit mucky down here today.
They know exactly what the problem is, and they're doing nothing about it. This has been falling on deaf ears for a long time. Lord Pearson has been outspoken about it for quite a while, unlike Starmer Armour. So let's have a listen to what he says in the House of Lords. Now, obviously, if anywhere in the UK is still free to speak, it should be the House of Lords, should it not? Let's have a listen.
The speech told us that measures will be introduced to improve the safety and security of public venues and help keep the British people safe from terrorism. My lords, when we use the word terrorism nowadays, we usually mean Islamist terrorism. And MI5 tells us that Islamist terrorism is now the UK's most significant threat. And yet, my lords, if we so much as try just to talk about Islam or Islamism, we are immediately accused of Islamophobia. A phobia is an irrational fear of something. But it isn't irrational to fear the modern world's most violent religious ideology. I describe it as such because, according to the religionofpeace.com website, Islamist terrorists have carried out some 46,602 deadly terror attacks somewhere in the world since their Twin Tower massacres of the 9th of September 2001, or more than 5 every day. Just in the week from July the 6th to 12th this year, there have been 35 attacks in 12 countries, killing 70 people and injuring 32. There are two broad divisions within Islam, as I'm sure your lordships know, between Sunni and Shia Muslims, with many subsects which don't often agree with each other. And the vast majority of these attacks have been on other Muslims. My lords, I understand there is a popular conception that the word Islam means peace, whereas in fact it means submission to the will of Allah or the Muslim God. Devout Muslims should obey the Quran and emulate the life of Muhammad. This is unfortunate because the Quran contains over 100 verses which encourage Muslims to kill or subdue non-Muslims. And in 627, Muhammad ordered the death of 600 Jews in one afternoon. The Islamists' view of this, my lords, is that peace will be achieved when our planet is ruled by Islam. My lords, Islam's Sharia law is already running de facto in the United Kingdom via some 80 Muslim arbitration tribunals. These discriminate harshly against Muslim wives, whose husbands have only to say, "I divorce you," 3 times, to leave them divorced and often destitute. The Sharia allows Muslim men to have 4 wives at a time, most of whom are having at least 2 children. So the Muslim population is going up 10 times faster than our national average. On past trends, Birmingham and 9 other English local authorities will be majority Muslim by 2031. The radicals' plan is to wait until they can take us over through the power of the womb and the ballot box. Of course, my lords, I pay tribute to the vast majority of Muslims in this country who eschew these tenets and live decent and helpful lives in our democracy. But we are left with the problem of what to do about the rest of them. May I suggest first that we should start monitoring our mosques and madrasas and imprison or deport our extremist imams. Second, we should encourage the licensing of imams before they can preach, as do other religions, including, I think, the Church of England. Third, the government should enact Baroness Cox's bill to give our Muslim wives the protection of our civil law. The bill has had 2 supportive second readings in your Lordship's House, but the government fears being called Islamophobic by our Muslim men, so won't support it. Fourth, we should ban the burqa in public, as 16 other countries have done, some of which are Muslim majority. My lords, Islam is a vast subject, and I cannot possibly do it justice in the 5 minutes which is our allotted speaking time. But I have written a 2-page bullet point memo entitled "Why Can't We Talk About Islam?", which has found favour in unexpected quarters, and I will put a copy of that in your Lordship's library.
So there you go, folks, a list of facts on a reason why Islamophobia is a stupid word, and why a phobia of some aspects of Islam are completely founded in facts. Do you hear what he said? 46,000 terrorist attacks around the world. 46,000.
Thank you very much.
Let that sink in a little bit. Do you feel safe on the streets now? Do you? Knowing that we've got, 30,000 Islamists on the terror watch list. Just putting that out there. I mean, they know that we're in danger. They know for a fact that we're in danger, or they wouldn't be putting up car rammings and peace barriers everywhere, would they? They wouldn't be having stabby arches on Christmas markets. They wouldn't be having...
Not your normal roads for a sports bike, is it?
Any of those things, would they? So they know and don't care. Why is that? Because it's not them, usually, that get attacked. Have you seen what happens when they do? Like
Thank you
Ames,
very much.
oh my lord, it was everywhere for a split second, all of them crying. And then they brushed it under the carpet, like everything else, like this gentleman's speeches, like any objection you have to having this threat on our streets. All of that swept under the carpet, and they're desperately trying to do it exactly the same way again. Are they not? Now, in my opinion, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, we don't need an inquiry into grooming gangs. What we need, because an inquiry into grooming gangs will just go the same way as the J report. It'll take them nearly a decade to complete it. It will cost you an absolute fortune, and there'll be no accountability where any of that money went. And it will do exactly the same as the J report and whitewash the problem. So I think what we actually need is investigations, not inquiries, not debates, not talking about investigations. We know where all of these things happened, so why don't we just go through them all, find all the police that were on duty at the time, all of the care workers that were on duty at the time, all of the social workers, all of the people that had any involvement in hiding it, and drag them over the coals. Do it town by town, city by city, and sweep the nation. That's how it should be done. That's what we really want. We want justice. Do you think an inquiry that's set up by the government and is chaired by a hand-picked member is going to get us any answers? Or do you think it's just going to enable them to kick it down the road again? Let me know in the comments what you think, everyone. It's a good speech though, wasn't it? Stay sane. I'll see you on the next one.